Hey, what's going on out there? Justice Severin here, back from the original chapters. Today we're talking about how to leverage your greatest asset. All right, for this one, we brought in our OGC intensive mindset coach, Patrick, a superstar behind the scenes for so long with us there. We really broke down the 80-20 rule, Pareto's principle, and really just how you can honestly immediately turn around your business with so many micro changes that really people are overlooking but can drastically help in the long run there. So go ahead too. This was live streamed right inside of our free original chapters marketing group, but make sure you click that subscribe button right there down below so we get you locked into all of our future videos coming forward there. But for right now, let's dive in. We're talking today, honestly, we're just walking through, honestly, like I teased it, right? I got it because, Patrick, he sent me over something late last night. I can tell he was up cooking this up for you guys late in the evening. We're talking about just kind of like, what's that number one greatest asset and how we can leverage it? And when it comes back to it, quick spoiler alert, it's you, right? Number one there. So we're going to talk to you about how we're leveraging this 80-20 principle in our businesses consistently and how he's helping our OGC members, his own clients on that side, and how I'm using this on my side every single day there. So we're going to lock into that first and foremost. I'll kind of walk you through those pieces. And obviously at the end, I'll give you guys an opportunity if you want to go ahead and work with us inside the intensive. I'll make sure we give you guys the opportunity to do that. But while we dive into this, like I said here, let me see. I see people jumping on. I'm going to double check and see because I want to see who's with us here live. Let's see who's over here in our comments real quick. We got Edwin. What's going on? Dejan, James, Cassie. Great to see you guys over here rocking with us. Oh, come on, Cassie. It's great to see a familiar face over there. Come on. Let's go ahead. So kind of like I mentioned too, and while we're going into this as well here, let me know what your guys' kind of main issues are going on in your business too. Obviously, I'm always open to open up the floor to any kind of questions. I want to make sure that we can take care of you, especially while Patrick's here. Got an extra force with me today, so I want to make sure that you guys all locked in with what we got. But really, today we're locking in, right? We're really breaking down. And luckily I got Patrick here because he's doing a much better job than I can of explaining this, but really breaking down this 80-20 principle, honestly. For those of you who are familiar, we're going to dive in deep. And for those of you who are new, I'm so glad you're here because this is such a powerful piece once you understand how to lock this down inside your business there, right? Really just how we can leverage that greatest asset, which I just spoke on before, 7 days a week. Honestly, really just increasing the return of that time invested inside your business. That's going to honestly take it to new heights from there. So clearly I'm pumped. Like I said, I'm pumped. I got Patrick here. My favorite part too about this, honestly, we can kind of kick this thing off, but it's just that how this principle, right? This 80-20 principle here, to me, it touches on all of the OGC pillars, right? The whole discover your six-figure avatar, from the supreme content messaging to the simplified conversion formula. Like if you can dial it in your business, it can just truly transform. And that's also, it's like, what? I keep saying the word business, but really, like, how much can this affect you on the personal side too, Patrick, right?
Yeah, your life too.
Come on.
The 6 pillars in the business, yes. But this is applicable to your whole experience. Everything about it.
I'm telling you that, especially we were talking about this before. It's like that. Yeah. It's so easy to just get stuck on the business. But then the people who are really successful in this space and just in general in life that we're seeing, maybe we're looking up to, they've 9 times out of 10 got life, health, and the business side all dialed in, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you got to think there's, that's kind of like what society promotes, right? It promotes the struggle, right? The rewards from the struggle. But there's two forms of effort, right? There's upstream effort and there's downstream effort, right? And they both produce the same results, except upstream effort, as it sounds, you're going to be working a lot harder to get the results that you can be getting with less, like easier, right?
Yeah.
Like more of a flow state, right? So why reinvent the wheel? Like go off of what other people have already built before you, right? Learn from the principles that have already been uncovered, like the 80-20 principle, and use it to your benefit, right? So now you're going with the flow of the river rather than upstream. So
I'm telling you, I hope you guys this is soaking in right there what he's dropping you with, because in reality, It's a simple concept if you can understand it for what it is, and really just the more you can stop trying to force yourself in positions that are making your life harder, making your day harder, making the tasks in your business harder, just the easy it's going to be for you guys to succeed out here. So as you can see, I need to pump the brakes on Patrick. He's about to dive all the way in and just drop all the gems here. Let me know if you guys want to see something, right? Let me know in the comments. Hey, you guys ready for us to jump in? Hit the likes button, hit the love button. I want to see something. Before we get into this, I brought Patrick here. I got to make sure you guys are worthy of his time.
Hey, Justice, all I got is gems, man. That's all I got.
I can see you dropping them early here. Come on. Where the likes at? Where the comments at? I want to make sure you guys are ready to hear this. So let me know once I see something, once I see a sign. Let's get into this, honestly. And I really just love, just like you said there, this is just one, honestly, of many where in reality, someone's already laid some kind of format in place for you. I think we talked about this, right? Some kind of formula, right? Already has been kind of dropped down. And the more that you can leverage what other people have created and kind of ease the path on, like you said, this whole upstream analogy here, just the easier it's going to be in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And so a lot of people also, they're really focused on this goal setting, which goal setting is great. It's really good to have goals, but you're focusing on the goal, and you're not really focusing and enjoying the journey to that goal, right? So this is also connected to the 80-20 rule, right?
Come on now.
If you focus more and enjoy the process, then you're more than likely going to reach that goal more fluidly, less stress, right? Focusing on more of the journey rather than the end result. So basically, if you're feeling good, like you're working towards it, there's got to be some kind of struggle, right? But struggle, means something different for everybody. But if you're feeling good, right, then you're on the right path. If you're feeling good with the results, the many results you're getting along the way, the learning that you're getting along the way, then you're on the right path, right? As long and keeping that goal in mind, but not like stressing out if it's not the exact direction that you had planned before. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, spot on there, right? Using that goal as a target, as a site that you're aiming for, but exactly not letting that be like just what's holding all of your energy.
Perfect analogy. All right.
Break it down for us, brother. Come on.
Look, when you put in a destination in your GPS, right? You put in a destination in your GPS, that's your goal. You're driving and you take a left, the GPS tells you to go straight, but you take a left turn, you decide to go down this route. What does the GPS do? It doesn't take you back to the beginning, right? It reroutes you from the point you are in that moment, right? But you're still going to that. You're still going to get to that goal, but you just got to enjoy where you're going at the time, and use it for what it's worth for wherever you are in your journey. So I feel like that's a good way to do it.
It's a great analogy there, right? It's like how many times have we all driven past the wrong turn when you miss the exit or something, right? That doesn't mean you're not going to get to where you're trying to get to. You just may have to take a little detour, right? Maybe now you got to wait for that U-turn up above. Maybe have to wait for exit 31 to kick in, even though you meant to go on 29, right? Right. That's a great one there, man. I'm telling you. Hey, you see the people here there. I see someone said, "Let's go." I'm pumped. Let me strap on. I don't know what you mean by that, but I can tell you're pumped to be here. Come on, I love it. I wish I see that comes in here. I see we got more and more people jumping on too. Hit that like button, hit that live button, that love button. Honestly, you guys are lucky for just jumping on right now because everyone else already said they're ready to go. So let's get rolling into it, man, Patrick. I kind of want to kick it off with, honestly, I feel we have to start with what is just the 80-20 principle. I think you probably, we can go you or me, but honestly, I'm gonna let you take this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So the reason why I wanted to start with the 80-20 principle, like when you asked me what we want to talk about, 80-20, was because on our Mindset Monday, if you guys don't know, I do Mindset Mondays with Justice every Monday at 1600 Central Time, right?
My man Central over here.
I'm
on the East Coast. I love it.
We talked about that. We touched on it a little bit. We didn't get into in depth as we probably will today. But so the 80-20 rule, it's known as the Pareto Principle. Actually, you taught me that the other day. I just knew it as the 80-20 rule, and you're like, hey, that's the Pareto, right? And I'm like,
come on.
Yes, yeah. But I did a little research, and basically what it is that it states that roughly 80% of your results are generated by 20% of your efforts, right? So, and this applies so much to new business owners, especially in this arena, because I was there, right, once, and I experienced it personally, so I can tell you firsthand. In the beginning, the majority of people, they are bombarded with all this information, right? And they want to make this business work so bad. So they start trying to do everything at once, all the things. And it never works out. You always get overwhelmed, and then nothing happens. You're so busy, you're doing all this stuff, but you're not getting any results, very little, if any, right? So this is where the 80-20 rule comes into play. And this is why I believe it should be kind of emphasized in the beginning before you start. This is something you can utilize from the start, right? Finding out the 20% that you're going to need to focus on that's going to produce 80% of the results. And then just focusing on that every day and putting everything else aside, right? Now, this rule, a little history for you guys, this rule was uncovered by an Italian guy. His name is Pareto, Vilfredo Pareto. And basically what it was that he noticed that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the population. Okay. He also noticed that 20% of the pea pods in his garden had produced 80% of the peas, right? Now, this is going to blow your mind. The more this 80-20 rule was studied and compared to everywhere around the world, it's everywhere around the world. It's just like the Fibonacci sequence, right? It's just like that. So it's in all of society, apparently in gardens too. Okay?
It shows how universal it is, man, right? I mean, and that's where, once again, because to me, that when I first hear this, right, when I first hear 80-20, I always just think of straight to the business side, right? And in reality, this is clearly crucial on that, but that's where I kind of love how, even when we started kind of talking about it too, I was more so just thinking so heavily on the business side, and just how in reality it is so applicable to so many different areas, even on nature aspects like you're mentioning here, right?
Yeah. Well, this is also a good reminder to if you're going to build a business, it just is a good reminder to tell you this. If you're going to build a business, we all want to work towards like loving what we do, right? And having it produce the lifestyle we want, right? The time freedom, the location freedom, the financial freedom, all of that, right? So just like so try not to separate, basically what I'm saying. Not trying not to separate business and then your life, right? Find a happy medium with the two. Like these need to be married and function in a like homeostatic way, right? And then so when you can find that balance, that's when everything just like, man, I mean, you're on cloud nine. Everything's working great, and this is what we're working towards, right? And everyone can achieve it. It's been achieved before. Like I said, people have laid down the foundation. It's there. You just need to follow suit.
Right? And honestly, that even just that piece right there reminds me of, for myself, it's kind of how simple it can be for me. Patrick knows I don't work out as much as Patrick does, but I do still get my reps in over here. So I do I try to work out 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and sometimes when I'll just overlook and say, you know what, I need to end up just focusing, and I need to skip this workout and say just get straight to work because I need that extra time. I got to make it happen. And 9 times out of 10, every time I skip it, I always end up regretting it. Or at least the other day, I'm like, I start getting going, or maybe what I'll end up doing is just end up sleeping later. And so now I just end up still not being as productive as I need. And when I do get that health side in, it just makes me feel so much more just dialed in. Just once again, kind of making sure that everything is in motion together, right? It's not, like you said, it's not just the business side. When you have it all working together, I just feel like it's so much more powerful. But it's so easy to overlook it because we think, the workout it's so unrelated, right? Me staying healthy is so unrelated. But once you start to get past that mindset, it can really be such a game changer.
You're basically you're changing your lifestyle to suit a vision that you have for yourself, right? So you have to like eliminate the resistance to that. You have to literally become that person that you're wanting to be. And it's funny that you use the workout example, because so we're back to the 80-20 rule. Here's a good example of the 80-20 rule.
Let's hear it.
So, say a guy trains 6 times a week, right? And he focuses on things like, I don't know, isolating each muscle, specialized movements, like does an hour of cardio every workout. And say he works out for an average of like 12 hours per week, right? And then you got this other guy, and he takes more of like a minimalistic approach. So he does like full body workouts, trains 3 times a week, focuses on like heavy compound exercises, and like does cardio. He does like high intensity interval training for cardio, right? And say he works out an average of 4 hours per week. So the question you probably have is like, which one's going to get the most results? And according to the 80-20 rule, the guy who's doing less, right, is going to get the more results. One, because he's focusing on the most important things to get that full body strength. Also, he's focusing on one of the most important things in any type of like, fitness regimen that you pick up when you want to reach a result, and that's rest. He's given his body time to rest in between, right? So he's going to make more gains because he puts all of his effort into the 20% of the things that create 80% of the results, right?
Jeez, right?
And a great example there for like,
I feel like
it doesn't apply to business, but it applies to like working out, right?
Man, and it just hits home on, because once again, just the natural way, and this is just how we move and we operate inside our business, which is where I hope that you guys are taking analogies and shifting it to that side too. But you would think that the guy working out 6 times a week is the one, right? Who's going to be, obviously he's going to be stronger. That's just what it seems like a no-brainer, right? He's the one going harder. Why wouldn't he make it further?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get results, obviously, but who's going to get the results faster and more efficiently?
It's all, well, who's going to win the competition in that sense?
Who's going upstream versus downstream, right?
Exactly, right? And then reality too, the beauty of it as well is the life balance that's involved there. Like, not only now is he spending less time there at the gyms, like now he also has more time for his family. Now he also has more time to do things that he actually wants there. I was talking to a client, and we actually talked on a similar topic in my mentorship call with the clients yesterday, and we brought up the messenger piece and kind of some time management stuff, and really how we can be so bogged down with the messenger, how really we're just trying to be in it. It's a dangerous game. You could be in messenger technically 24 hours a day, right? Easily, as long as you're awake.
You remember, I was in the mess. I remember I think I complained to you often. I was like, I don't want to do the messenger game. It just gets,
you can lose so much time there. Exactly. And I feel like in reality, as long as you're focused on talking to the right leads at the right, in a consistent enough basis, really the solution, this only kind of ties into this so much, but the solution was honestly, hey, he needs a different kind of time zone. It's like, hey, in reality, if you can block off an hour to 2 hours twice a day, just limit your messenger during that time, because otherwise the problem is it can be so distracting. I know for me, if I'm trying to get a project done, today is Wednesday. If I'm trying to get a big project done where I know it's going to take me 3 hours to do, and I'm just having my tabs open and I have Messenger open, I am not going to get that project done. I'm going to see stuff popping up left and right. It's going to be extremely distracting there, right? But in reality, I don't need to worry about responding to those messages, because I want to focus on the things that's actually going to move the needle in my business. If I focus on this, maybe I'm writing this piece of content that or I'm creating an asset that I can now go ahead and launch and make money off of it. If I spend that time focused on that, instead of spending, just a little time distracted with Messenger here and there, and it's getting pulled away. Now I'm trying to do 80% of the things. I'm trying to do all the things now. Instead, if I just buckle down and focused on that one asset building project I'm working on, then I can be fine. And then that's going to probably generate more money than whatever BS conversations I'm dealing with throughout that day. Because in reality, what I was trying to tell them too is that we all have, if you're in this organic game, you're dealing with relationship marketing, you probably have a lot of conversations. And if that's the case, you realize now that not all of these conversations turn into sales, right? Majority of them do not turn into sales. We're being honest. That's why I love the high ticket side. We don't need all of them to turn into sales, right? But if you can just realize and put the energy into those who really are giving you something back, are buying into the brand, are believing that you got some value you can give them.
At 20%.
At 20%,
yeah,
that's where you want to put the focus on, right? And they don't need your attention 24 hours a day, right? They're just happy to get it when they get it there, and then you can make your offers as needed. So exactly, Patrick. You see it there, man. So
yeah, absolutely.
Just goes to show.
Yeah, and when it just goes to show. And when you think about it, and when you start just seeing this as it's just the way it is. Just like I mentioned before, the Fibonacci sequence. It's just the way it is. I guarantee you, go look in your closet and go look at all the clothes in your closet. I guarantee you only wear about 20% of the clothes in your closet.
Come on. You see how and once again, it just goes to this. Take any other example. We should have came with a list of examples, but in reality, there is it's everything.
Yeah,
it's everything there.
Yeah.
And so before, because we can go down that rabbit hole too, man. I kind of want to talk about as well. We were kind of speaking about this before, how in reality you deal with, once again, kind of in this space, obviously an overwhelm of new information. You're trying to emphasize the right stuff so that you can really go ahead and take this 80-20 principle and be efficient with it. But we kind of talk about how it takes time and how you kind of got to train yourself, right? Like this isn't something that just because you're sitting here today listening to us say, just giving you this principle, you've heard it or not, or maybe reminding you of it, refreshing you of it, it doesn't mean you're going to go out and just take action on it. Yeah. I'm sure you can speak on that too.
Yeah, just to understand, so the way you've been doing things so far, before this, you've been doing it a certain way for so long that you are conditioned to doing things that way. So essentially, doing things, now you're learning to do things a different way to bring you the results that you want, but you're not used to doing that. So that's going to take time. You're rewriting you're literally rewriting a program biologically, right? So it's going to take time. It's going to take time. You're going to have to do it habitually, consciously. So they say you go through this process. You start off at unconscious incompetence, right? So when you're starting something new, it's unconscious incompetence, just like tying your shoe when you're a kid, right? You don't know how to tie your shoe, but you don't know that you don't know how to tie your shoe, right? Like you don't know that you don't know how to tie your shoe. But then someone says, this is how you do it. So now you're at conscious incompetence. So consciously, you're trying to tie your shoe, but you're going to mess up a lot because you've never done it before, right? So then you move from conscious incompetence to conscious competence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, right? So conscious competence. Now I know that these actions, that I need to do these actions to make these results, and I'm doing this consciously. I'm doing it. Then you get to a point. This is where you want to be. This is a sweet spot. Unconscious competence.
Talk about it.
Like breathing, right? And it's boom. You're just doing it. Yep, that's it. Boom. And then it's and then you get the results. So it takes time to go through that process to get to that point, just like anything else. But you just have to have faith that it's going to happen, right? And then faith in yourself, of course. Like we've said in the beginning, you are your greatest asset. No matter how many tools are out there or trainings or whatever, you have to invest in yourself first. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? You have to invest in yourself first. And then the results will come. Just invest in yourself, take the time, be patient, and enjoy the process.
Let the rest come there. Come on. Hey, if you guys watching right now, let me know if you're getting some value from this man right here. Drop the comment value, hit the like button, hit the love button. I love that you just brought that up there, man. I think literally was last week on last week's live stream. I brought up how you want to be unconsciously competent, right? Like that is what we're striving to hit towards. So I love that you brought that piece up there. And it takes time to get to that point, right? It takes time to get to that point. Luckily, the way that I even kind of learned that concept, right? After you can get to that consciously competent piece pretty quickly, right? If you're staying consistent for 3 weeks to a month, you can really get this piece where it's really dialed in. And then you stay consistent for another couple of months after that, you'll start to witness and really experience some of that unconscious competence there.
Commit. Right? Just make a decision and commit to just a month, right? Commit to 30 days of doing that same thing, regardless of it, regardless of the seeing results right away or not. just commit to doing that same thing every day for 30 days. That's it. Just do that. That's when it's going to start seeping into that conscious, competence, right?
Absolutely there. And honestly, we were kind of talking about this too, right? That's why even, the OGC is 90 days. Patrick's got program 90 days. It's like, we want to make sure that you are staying super consistent with what you're putting your energy into. But also, I was kind of talking about the flip side, where in reality, I don't want to make it so that somebody now is doing something for, having a 12-year 12-month program or a 2-year program, because now that's just giving you excuses to get lazy, giving you excuses to feel like, all right, you know what, I got time to take care of this, I got time to knock this out in the future, right? It's like, but we need to just jump in right now, just like say, commit, really believe and understand what it is you have to focus on, and just go all in with it. Go all in and stay consistent to the point where now it's just, you're going to naturally get results right there. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I see somebody just said, hope there's a replay. I can promise you there'll be a replay. We got you covered there. I love that there, man. And really, like we said, just another, because we spoke about this example too when it came down to money, right? I think we were talking about this before, the whole money pyramid idea, right? I was kind of talking about how realistic, I was kind of taught this. I didn't make this up by any means, but really, bottom 20% is really the kind of poverty level. 60% above that is really where the majority of people are at, between that 20-60% middle class, right there in that area. And then right above that, 15% is kind of a bit more wealthy side. 4% above that is really just kind of the bit more wealthy. And then the mega 1%ers, like I think I was said, like the Bezoses of the world, right?
When we talked about that earlier, I actually did a little bit of research.
Yeah, let's hear it, man. Come on.
Right? So the distribution, this whole 80-20 distribution thing has been proven like multiple times, right? In like different contexts in different areas of life. Like we've already kind of given a few examples of that, right? So basically, small numbers are often like the main things that you, like the small things. There's just a group of small things that you need to focus on to create the big results, right? It's just a matter of finding that. And it's mirrors in our society, like I mentioned before. So check this out. So the GDP, right?
Yeah.
The wealth distribution of the world. It turns out there's 195 countries in the world, okay? And we know that 20% of 195 is 39. You can do the math. I already did it, but you can check.
Take his word for it to do the numbers. Yeah.
All right. So next. So on the World Bank website, when you look up the predicted GDP rating of the top 39 countries, you'll find that the top 20% of the world contains 90% of the world GDP. So it's just mirrors on a grand scale globally. So it works. So basically all that tells you is, I know some people are probably thinking, the elites, they got all the money, but just use that information in a positive way, right? Like
that's all you can do.
You can use that rule and apply it to what you've got going on now and create your own wealth, right? So you get to a point where you got to ask, like, why does this even work? Like, why does 80-20 happen, right? And because we ask that because we all think critically, right?
Come on now. People are thinking it. Someone at home is thinking, come on now.
I hope so. But I'm guarantee you're going to find that the 80-20 distribution happens because of feedback loops. That's just naturally how it happens, just like the Fibonacci sequence. Oh. So just utilize it. Use it. Stick to what you know works. Regardless, do the 30 days. Stick to what you know works.
Absolutely, there, right? And I think it comes back to one thing that just kept coming back as well, is just the whole, I've said it before a bit with the messenger side, but just the whole, it brings the time management and the efficiency out when you have this at the forefront of your mind, right? When it comes down to just knowing what tasks in your business you need to start focusing on more, right? How easy can it be to lose 6 hours of your day trying to make the perfect funnel, right? Get the perfect, and then you'll spend 2 hours after that reorganizing the color scheme of that funnel, trying to tweak up your your email sequences before you even have leads to really be sending them to, right? Especially if you're just getting started, which is why I love that Patrick put that emphasis on this when we first, like I said, let me know if you guys are still getting value from this. This is really good stuff. You start applying this here. When you're new into this industry, into any kind of business model, especially in this affiliate marketing coaching space, you have to understanding this principle right here and really focusing on this at an early piece in the early stage in your business is going to put you ahead of so many people, because so many people will get into this space and 3 months later, they still haven't thought about the fact that they don't know how to get traffic. They've been telling themselves that they're going to focus on putting pieces of content out on their profile, piece of content on their YouTube page, but instead they're so focused about getting their keywords down and their whatever it is, all the little things, their hashtags, they're just a bunch of nonsense, honestly, right? And the people who honestly, I like to think of it myself, and I like to think a lot of my clients, I just told Patrick and Heist, my other coach there too, that we just had a guy, Christopher, shout out to him. He just had a 1K day 2 weeks after joining our mentorship program, right? And we just had a shout out to Ryan too. He just probably had a 1K day as well there, right? And this is 2 weeks, and I've seen people where they come in and sometimes like 2 weeks, a month, sometimes people after 6 months and they don't get anything. And I think that a big difference is, what are you focusing on a day-to-day basis, right? Where are you putting your energy on when you wake up in the morning? Where are you putting because in reality too, a lot of us have day jobs we're working on, right? And especially when you're starting off, I know I was working my accounting 9 to 5 there when I was getting this thing going, right? So it's like you have to be efficient with your time and understand what is going to move the needle forward in your business and not get distracted by all the little things. And that is going to, just like Patrick said, as a beginner, potentially maybe you're watching this, you're new, maybe you've been in this for 3 months, maybe you've been in this for a year. Like, honestly, you should analyze and see, what have you been spending your time on? There's a lot of good, honestly, like project management apps out there. I use one, honestly, just because it helps me, but realistically, you can use like your Google Calendar and just start mapping out your days, right? Instead of just kind of winging it hour by hour, minute by minute, start thinking about, what are you focusing on coming tomorrow? I know for myself, before I go to sleep at night, I already know the top 3 things I want to get done the next day. I make sure I write them down legit in this journal right here. And when this journal fills up, there'll be another journal. I go ahead and I make sure that I understand, all right, what do I got to get done tomorrow? Because by the time, for me, when I wake up in the morning, I am so much more dialed in when I have that already focused on. Because if I don't have that down, then all of a sudden I'm working on the 80% that day, right? The 80% starts creeping in now. And that's,
you remind me of Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss says, always ask yourself, what is the one thing that I can do today that'll make everything else irrelevant, right? So the bottom line is, to maximize your efficiency in life, you got to always be looking for the 20% that will give you the 80% of the results. And when you find those things, just double down on them, make them your primary focus.
Double down on it, man. Come on now. That's like, honestly, for me, I say that because reality too, I tell people at the start of my journey, I was struggling hard for I had my first high ticket sale, it got refunded. And for the next, so in my mind, it counted as a sale, but my bank account thought otherwise, right? So for the next month and a half, 2 months, I was grinding. Like, for those of you who've heard, I was taking so many sales calls for 2 months straight, just grinding, because I knew that was the way that my strategy was working. I knew that was what I needed to do in order to make a sale. If I didn't have a call booked on my calendar that day, I basically was not going to get a sale. And I say that because I was focused on it, because I knew that was what was going to move the needle forward for me, right? And obviously, I was taking care of some other things like content in between and pieces like that. But I was also, even though it wasn't working, quote unquote, I wasn't seeing the monetary results, I was sharpening those skills, right? I was showing up every day, sharpening those skills. I was taking 5-10 calls. I think it was 10 to 15 calls a week, honestly, through. This was December 2020 and a little bit of November 2020 there. And then before you know it, boom, December 31st of 2020, hit my first real high ticket sale. Boom, the next day, literally January 1st, next high ticket sale. It's and then the rest is history from there, honestly. But it just, because I wasn't you know what? And it goes back to what, I got to put this back on the screen, like Patrick said. Thank you forever said this here before. Commit, yes. Right? I committed, and I knew that I had a mentor at the time. I had at least 2 mentors at the time. And they're telling me, hey, you're on the right path. Keep focusing. They told me that's what I had to do, so I did it. I stay consistent with it there. So it's like, just you're sharpening these skills as well when you're doing this stuff. When you're focused on that 20%, you maybe feel like, Justice, I've been going hard with that 20%, but I haven't seen it yet. Keep going. Keep going.
That's right. This reminds me of another story. I remember it, and I might butcher it, but it's about Abraham Lincoln, about cutting down trees, right? Have you heard this one?
I don't think so, man. Maybe. Let's see.
There's a guy. He's like, if you have a certain amount of, say, you have 5 hours to cut down this tree, like, what are you gonna? What should you focus on? Like, what kind of technique? What should you focus on? And I think it was Abraham Lincoln. He's like, I'm going to focus 90% or 80 or whatever. He's going to 80% on what's going to be needed. That 20% is going to be needed to cut down that tree, and that's sharpening that axe.
Look at that.
Right.
Come on now. Yep.
So that's
a real
and to be
a really good point there.
Right. And talking about like kind of these lifestyle, these changes that you need to make in order to get these results. And it all starts internally, right? Your external world is just a reflection of what's going on inside, right? So if you start changing your thoughts, you start changing when you start changing your thoughts, you start changing your actions, your behaviors, and then it starts reflecting back to you, right? Now, a lot of people like to make like to-do lists, right? To-do list. I am not a fan of to-do list, and there's been a lot of research to say to-do lists are hurting you more than they're helping you.
Ooh, and I feel like I can understand why. Keep going. Let me see where you're going with this.
So the thing with to-do lists is when we're doing a to-do list, we haven't conditioned ourselves to get into to start doing these income producing things yet, right? So we're making to-do lists. We got to do this, 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 this. So, but we're coming from not right a limited view. So we're putting all these like BS things down on the list that don't do anything to help us reach our goals, right? But we feel accomplished if we do a few things off.
That's the dangerous part.
And then we're just like, we're tricking ourselves. And then we start becoming this master procrastinator, right? So statistically, 40% of to-do lists are never accomplished. You know, they're
not higher.
Yeah, they're useless. So if you are making to-do lists, I would suggest that you kind of rethink that. You know, I like to do. I know, Justice, you like to know the top 3 important things you're going to do for the next day.
Yeah,
I love that. Like setting out your day before you go to bed, so then you already know what you're going to start.
Go in with that clarity for me. Yeah, what you got?
Instead of to-do lists, start looking at months to month. I would suggest getting. I have in my office. I have a big laminated like yearly calendar, but with months on it, right? So I plan out the months, and then you work on like if you have a goal on a specific month, then you can focus on the things you need. Break it down on how you're going to do that goal. Break it down to the 20% you need to focus on. Focus on that 20% till that goal is achieved. Boom. Then you go to the next one. Then the next one. These are how the majority of high achievers do what they do, achieve what they achieve.
I love that there, man. That reminds me, honestly, I've spoken about this before as well here, where the whole principle, strategies, tactics, right? It's like in reality, a lot of people are going out there and they're just blindly putting energy into tactics, right? Putting energy into things that they think are going to go ahead and get them to the goal, but in reality, it's completely disconnected from what their goal is. And the way that you should really attack it, and especially this goes for the business side, but I'm sure just like with the theme we're talking here today, I guarantee you can put this to other places, other parts of your life. For the principle, if your principle is I want to make up an example here, but let's just say to make this simple, your principle is to be to turn 50 people. Yeah, maybe if you're in the health space, right? You want to help 50 people lose 30 pounds or something, right? You have a goal to make 50 people lose 30 pounds in 2022, right? That's the principle. That's what you're striving for. That is like your driving force there, right? So now, what are the main strategies you're going to focus on to make that happen, right? What are you going to do as far as the higher level pieces to really make that happen? To me, what some of the strategies potentially to that could be, let's just say I'm going to use, in order to do that, you have to get people in, right? You can't make that goal happen without finding people. So maybe a strategy you're going to have is you're going to use Facebook as a strategy to pull people in order to now go ahead and do that. And then also maybe a strategy as far as like the tactical side, you're going to have them do some kind of diet. I'm sure Patrick could probably help more on that side there, right? But really you have to some kind of diet with it. So these pieces are like more of the strategies you're going to use to make that principle possible. So now any tactics that you do should be directly related towards those strategies. And when you keep that mindset, it's going to make sure that you are literally going up to reach that principle and make that possible. If I was to say, let's just keep it super simple and say that those are the only two strategies I was going to use. Facebook to bring in people, this one diet to make that happen. Those are the main strategies there. So maybe the tactics in the diet are to make sure that they are eating this kind of food inside of it, doing this kind of protein, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a health guy, right? The Facebook side, really, you're making sure that you're doing, you're in Messenger, you're getting people to calls, blah, whatever your strategy is there. So if all of a sudden now you're going ahead and winging it and like, I'm just going to put up a quick YouTube video and see what happens there. It's like, that is not a part of your strategy that you set to make that principle possible. So now you are just blatantly wasting time here and distracting yourself from what's really going to get your goal. That's why I love what Patrick's saying there with the whole paint out your goals ahead of time into the future there. So now, if that's the forefront of your mind, you realize, all right, this month I'm focusing on this. So if all of a sudden you start going off to the side too much, you now can catch yourself, right? And maybe obviously we all veer off course sometimes, but now you can catch yourself and say, all right, no, I'm off track here. Let's dial it back in. I got a plan. This is a part of something larger.
And I want to emphasize on something you said, like, so using that example, maybe doing the YouTube channel will be beneficial in the future, but you're not on that track yet, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, you're probably going to get bombarded with different ideas that might work, or might not, but you already have a blueprint of something that will work. So focus on that until you get the desired results. Then you can move on to the next thing, right?
I'm glad you added in that little disclaimer there. That's exactly the dangerous part, and that's why you need to keep that mentality. YouTube is arguably one of the best social media platforms out there. But you've been focusing for the past, let's say, 30 days on doing the Facebook side, and now all of a sudden you randomly want to put a YouTube video. It doesn't coincide with the strategy that you set before, and that's why it's important to have at least some kind of a mentor or coach that can help to give you some kind of a game plan along the way. So now all right, I'm heading down this path, and this is where we're going all in. What's the theme of the today? It feels like past the 80-20. We're committing, right? We're committing.
Oh. Yeah, that's it. That's right. We're not talking about airplanes. Talking about 80-20, even though you could probably relate 80-20 to airplanes.
I'm sure you could there, man. I just got off a flight to Arizona. I'm sure, man. That could be dangerous. You start thinking about 80-20 in airplanes. Let's not go there, sure. I'll tell you, man. I hope you guys are getting a ton of value from this right now. Like I said, hit that like button, hit that love button. If you've gotten anything from this, I'm seeing people are on here. So let us know in the comments there if Patrick has shed some light. If I've said something that's hit, I want to make sure that you guys are not only letting this hit home for you, but honestly, like I always say, like the best thank you can really give us over here is just implement it. Take this and really think about how you're going to go into your day tomorrow, how you're going to finish off your day today, maybe, right? Like forget tomorrow, right, Patrick? Like
right.
we're over here. I'm over here in the Eastern time zone right now. I got 6 hours left in the day. What am I going to do?
One of the biggest mistakes that people make is thinking that today is a continuation of yesterday.
Oh, elaborate. I see people getting some value too. Elaborate on that, man. Let them get some more from you.
It's not nothing is a continuation of the yesterday or the past. It's always now. Every moment is a time to start to change your route, to use a different method, or if you've been doing non-productive actions in the past, now is the best time to change it. If that clicks for you, now do it now.
Oh.
Nah,
come on.
So people's biggest mistake is thinking that today is a continuation of yesterday. It's like, that's when people get into the modes of, I'll do it later, or
that is really good there, man.
week, you know what I'm saying? So
And once again, it's this whole human nature piece. That's why, like we're saying here, a lot of the stuff that we're telling you guys, we want you to go and implement it, but it may take some reconditioning, right? It may take you be now maybe like Patrick was saying before, you may be consciously incompetent right now, right? Maybe you're stepping a little bit more closer towards that side. And now it's about going ahead and get out there and staying consistent with it. So now this stuff can really hit home. We don't expect you to leave here right now and just completely change your business tomorrow with everything we're telling you. Because in reality, it's going to take time. It's going to take that commitment, right? To really go ahead and make this thing go there. I'm telling you, I'm seeing people dropping the value. I'm seeing the likes and the loves. Make sure you guys keep doing that there. I'm loving this here. I want to make sure, like I said, I'm not going to pull Patrick away from you guys here. I want to make sure we get some questions. I just want to take a quick little TO here, honestly. Like I said, we really want to take some time to make sure that anybody who wants the kind of opportunity here, like I mentioned before, we can hook you up. As you can see, my man Patrick here, he's got nuggets and gems. Like he said, we only have so much time here. I feel like sometimes Patrick and I say we're going to chat for like 15 minutes. An hour and a half later, we're diving into a conversation. So I'm telling you there. So really, like I said, this guy, that's why I love having him. Like you mentioned, I think it's been around since summertime last year. It's been great having him there. So honestly, you guys hearing this now, if you're struggling, whether it's the mindset or just kind of focusing on really what to move your needle forward in your business, right? What kind of is that 20% you can really dial in on? Maybe you're having trouble with your sales conversations, maybe just increasing traffic and gaining that qualified lead flow. I want to go ahead and let you guys know right now, if you're an affiliate marketer, if you're a coach in this space and you really just want to build just honestly a wildly profitable business on Facebook here, comment greatest below and I'll make sure that we're going to go ahead and reach out to you and see if it's a good fit, right? See if what we have here, is something that can work for you. And honestly, if it's not, I'll go ahead and pass you off to somebody else who will. My goal is to not waste somebody's time and push them into something that's not for them there. So honestly, for me, myself, I'm sure, honestly, really, Patrick's seen it. Like I mentioned with some of our clients I just mentioned today, they fortunately had their first 1K days recently. This stuff is game changer, right? It can, whether you're looking for an extra income, whether you're looking to get a side hustle, or you're looking to transform it and take your 9-to-5 and push that to the side and go all in with an entrepreneurial journey there, right? Either way, for myself, as I mentioned before, I was full-time in accounting. Thank goodness that's in the past. That's a strong why for me to keep pushing every day so I never have to go back, right? But really, it can go larger than life there. And I've seen the Facebook side really change it for people out there, honestly. So I want to see, honestly, those people who are interested, comment greatest below. I'll make sure to go ahead and reach out. This is applicable whether you're watching this live or the replay. Let me know and we'll go ahead and hook it up and get you guys moving there. All right, so now we can go ahead and dial that TV back on. Let's go back to that main channel. I want to make sure if you guys have any questions here too for Patrick. Like I said, we got a little bit of time. I don't want to hold him here hostage forever. But let me know. Drop a comment here if you guys got a question for him. Like, what is this stuff making sense? Do you need something to dive deeper on? What are your guys' thoughts here? Right? What are you guys' thoughts? Let us know. Comments, concerns, questions. Drop it down there. Drop it down there, man. Patrick, what? While we're waiting for some questions to drop in, what comes to mind, man? What's going on over there?
Well, I was just thinking. I just wanted to add too. Like, I know, like I said, it can be overwhelming if you're like just starting off, but just don't beat yourself up. Just know that everyone has this. It's a challenge. You've never done this before. You can't expect to just pick it up and like go. So everyone's got their own kind of time frame, right? So, speaking of time, this kind of jumps. This is going to take me back to the 80-20 time. We mentioned that we talked about this earlier.
That crossed my mind. I think I lost it for a sec.
That is the biggest thing. Look, you can make money, you can lose money, but you can make it back, right? You can lose your gains in the gym, but you can make it back. If you lose time, though, you can't make that back. So that's one of the greatest things that if you're mastering this 80-20 rule, is going to gain for you, right? Is that time. So you want to focus on the producing actions, the 20%. That should be a great incentive to like start utilizing this rule, right, in your business and in your life, right? Because you can't get that time back.
Oh, come on. I'm really glad we didn't leave here without saying that piece, because really hit the like button, the love button, guys. This is hitting home right here. Once again, thank you for Patrick. Appreciate you taking your time out of your day to be here, man. But really, that is something where just let that hit home there, right? In reality, that's the one thing that you are not getting back. And so now when you operate with that in mind, you move differently, When you operate that in mind, you spend time with different types of people. You spend time doing different types of activities in your personal life, in your business life, in everything there. Because in reality, we don't have time to lose. We don't have time to waste here. And we have to make sure that we're being very, very dialed in and intentional with our day, especially for me, obviously it truly hits the core on the business side. But like I mentioned, the more that I kind of keep thinking about this, and as Patrick and I were talking about this before, and obviously as we're going here, it goes bigger than business.
Yeah,
it goes bigger than business.
Yeah. So do not waste. You don't want to waste that time. You want to focus on the things that are going to produce, that are going to create the reality that you choose for yourself, right? And it could be anything, but make sure you focus on the things that's going to create that. Just like everything. Like I'm thinking of that the whole rule behind if you hang around, like if the 5 people that you hang around the most are all you're going to be
the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's exactly it.
So and you have the ability to choose, right? You could choose who you hang out with. You can choose what actions you decide to work on, right? So that's where our power lies.
Oh, and I just want to highlight as well, there's something, once again, call it obvious, so I want to highlight that. You can also choose to spend your time with the wrong people, right? Like that is an option, and that's an option that a lot of people choose. You can choose to spend your time on the wrong tasks every single day. How's that going to affect you tomorrow? How's it going to affect you right now? Right? Forget tomorrow. And then if we're talking bigger, how's that going to affect you in a year? Right? If everything you keep doing, focusing on all the wrong areas, the wrong people, the wrong times, whatever the case may be, how are you going to look in 2023? Because it's going to be here before you know it. It's going to be here. How fast is January? January 26th as we're talking right now. Mm-hmm. February is about to be here. Did January go how you wanted it to go? If not, dial it back in.
Yeah,
dial it back in here now.
Because we've been given such a great opportunity. I know we've dealt with. There's been a lot of crap. We've dealt with a lot of stuff in the past couple of years that we're not used to. It's been devastating for a lot of people. But in all times of crisis, there's opportunity, right? And this is a great opportunity for you to optimize on, right? So and you have it, you're doing it, right? And for those of you who aren't, you have the option to.
Absolutely. You have the choice.
But there's a lot of people that are changing their lives, and it's really amazing to see, man. That's one of the best things in life, I think. Just the reward of seeing somebody that you've influenced or helped change, for the better.
Yeah, that's another thing we were talking about in the call yesterday as well there, where it's like to be able to see you help, it's like just the links of it, right? I help somebody, right? In this instance, I already shouted out Christopher. I help Christopher. Technically, we help Christopher, right? Patrick's a coach inside of the mentorship program. We help Christopher hit $1,000 a day. Now, bigger than that, that's amazing. But bigger than that, he can now go ahead and teach somebody else.
Yeah.
What we're doing is bigger than just a two-person interaction here. It can go so much deeper. So think about, who are you impacting, right? Who are you impacting? Who do you want to impact? Like I said, well, if your principle is to impact this many people, start taking these tactics, create these strategies and these tactics to match them that are going to get you there, and really focus on them. I want to urge. I hope that hits home for you guys.
Yeah. That reminds me of another huge practice that I have my clients do a lot is just the practice of gratitude. It's so powerful, right? But I've recently, with some new information that I've gathered recently, I used to have my clients list like gratitude, things that they're grateful for, or even if they don't have it, like imagine having it and being grateful for that, right? Exude that confidence. However, the new information that I came across actually says that we have a stronger physiological response to thinking about the reaction of someone else we've helped. So the gratitude of someone else to
Ooh.
our aid. So we have a stronger
Ooh.
reaction. For example, I used to help stroke patients with PT and regain movement and stuff. And I remember there's one client in particular who he lost movement of his right arm, and then we worked for almost a year, and finally we got him to voluntarily like grab something and pull it towards him, and just the look on his face, and that will create a stronger physiological response than just thinking about something that you could be grateful for. So if you do a gratitude practice, think about doing it that way, thinking of that. And if you don't have too many of those experiences, find someone that that motivates you, someone who has a story already laid out that you can look up to, or that has accomplished a lot of things that you look up to, and a lot of people are grateful for them, and then dive into their story to get that feeling.
That is like, I can keep saying this all day, man. These people, I really hope you guys are listening and getting this value. I see that plenty of people have been sticking around the entire time. That's amazing. But make sure you drop any kind of comments and questions too before we take off. I want to kind of to speak on that piece too that you just mentioned. There is the mindset I want you guys to have based off of that too. Just like you said, you may not have people right now maybe that you're helping, or whether it's coaching or supporting on this online business world or something like that. There, you may not have someone yet because you haven't gotten to that position. What I want to urge you to do as well here is, at the very least, just create your own case study. And when I said the case study in you, right? Be your own first success story that you make possible into this world, into this online space here. Because once you start to get that, and I'm more so talking more directly to the business side here, clearly, once you can make that happen, now all of a sudden, the ladder starts trickling in. Right now the links are made. Right now, all of a sudden, you're helping people and creating your own case studies. And then their students making case studies, right? And like I said, now the impact is going so much further beyond yourself. And just like Patrick said here, it doesn't get much better than that. It doesn't get like that. That is really where, and whatever area you help in. I use the health example, right? Wherever the first time you help somebody lose 20 pounds, who are 50 pounds, whatever it is, right? And they have just been struggling like to make that happen. I mean, it's going to be tough to beat that feeling there. So I love that you shared that there, man. Seriously.
Absolutely.
Well, honestly, I don't see any more questions, comments dropping in. Like I said, let Patrick know you guys are thankful. You guys can definitely, he's an admin here in the group, so definitely friend him on Facebook. He's a resource for you here. We got him labeled as a group expert, I think. So, I guess that means Facebook thinks he's the SHIT over here. So, well, let's make sure you take advantage of that. Come on here.
I'll take it.
He's an awesome guy, as you can see. And it just, what I love is just a great perspective he has. That's why when we have conversations there, they end up lasting longer, because he causes me to see things through a different light. And I think that is so crucial for you, especially in this online world where you can be so focused on one thing, just focused on hitting that one goal, so focused on talking to the right people day in, day out. It's like, well, what else can we do to shift things, to maybe make them progress, but in a different way? Allow us to kind of perform better in our business in a way that we didn't imagine before. So I appreciate you being here, Patrick, man.
Yes. One more thing though.
Go ahead. Drop
Remember, your business is an extension of you, right? So if you're not working properly, your business isn't going to be working properly. So make sure you take that into account. And you are your greatest asset, like we said in the beginning. So take the time and the effort to fill that cup. Right.
Come on now. On that note, let's take them out of here, man. Like you see, we could keep going here, but we're gonna let you guys get some dinner over there, whatever time zone you're in. But thanks for being here, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Till next time. Thanks for watching this video all the way through. Make sure you go ahead and like this if you got a ton of value from, which I hope you did. Subscribe to the channel, and absolutely go ahead and join us in our original chapters community. Links right down there in the description. And as always, you are designed to become who you choose to be. I'll see you later.